This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 108, entitled The Nawalting of Women. Description. This flyer explains how men can force women to behave as though they are nawalts, even though they aren't, by forcing women to choose between twaytweffing or being manless. A woman in a twaytwef relationship has to behave like a nawalt, or she gets dumped, cost-free for the man. The flyer itself. The nawalting of women. This flyer shows how men can force women to behave as though they are nawalts, that is, not all women are like that, a MGTOW term. What is a nawalt? It's a woman who looks on men as exploitable objects, who feels that men exist on this earth to pay for women to have babies, stuff like that. One of the main messages of the MGTOWs is that all women are awalts, A-W-A-L-T-S. All women are like that. That is, they don't love men. They love men's exploitability. That women evolve that way, and that women are hypergamous by nature. That is, they will readily drop their current man for a more exploitable man. That is, richer, more powerful, more ambitious, smarter, better looking, if one realistically comes along. This makes perfect Darwinian sense. MGTOWs assert that most men would love to have a relationship with a nawalt. Not all women are like that, because then such a woman would not be like the typical female, that is, nagging, manipulative, shit-testing, using sex to get him to pay for her to have kids in a middle-class house, that is, being a fluffy, by definition, solipsistic, behaving like a child, not taking responsibility for her own life, being fluffy, etc. Millions of men have gone MGTOW because they think that relationships with women are just not worth the effort. The major trigger of the modern MGTOW/masculist movement is the fluffy feminist takeover of the divorce courts, where one married father in 4 is financially massacred, losing his house, his kids, paying child support and alimony, so the ex-wife can continue parasiting on her ex-husband. MGTOW/masculist videos on YouTube are popping up like mushrooms now. God, I'm ad-libbing now. I'm putting out 5 a day, which is pretty easy actually, because I'm just reading aloud from essays that I wrote a year or 2 back, which only take about 10 minutes reading per flyer. Then I spend the whole night processing the damn stuff. Men are waking up and discussing women's true natures avidly. Men are becoming conscious how manipulative, exploitative and parasitic traditional women are, and how women's parasitic nature evolved over millions of years. Men are becoming aware just how prostitutional women are by nature on men. More intelligent, more intellectual men realize that it's just the way women are, that they evolved that way. These men know that several million years ago, pre-human babies doubled their brain size in a mere million years, so mothers had a real problem. Their pelvises, hip bones, could not keep widening to allow the baby's head to pass through the birth canal, because the wider the birth canal, the greater the stresses on the hip bone. A hip bone fracture was fatal. So evolution selected for babies being born prematurely so that the baby's brain could continue to grow after the birth. But a premature baby is useless and demands full-time attention from the mother, so she can't go out hunting for protein far from home. So women became more dependent on men to give them protein that the men hunted. Those women who were sexier got more protein, so female sexuality evolved, so that now human females are the sexiest of mammals. Human females do not have periods of being in heat, because they are always in heat. They can have sex all days of the month. Thus women evolved to be prostitutes on men. The deal was, quote, "You men give us protein for us and our babies, and we'll give you our cunts." MGTOW/masculists know this and are forced to adapt to it because it's women's nature. Women use their sexuality to extract resources, protein in the past, money today, for themselves and their kids. Experiments show that women's vaginas moisten at the sight of a rich, powerful, handsome man Women evolved to do that. But once men have taken the MGTOW red pill, that is, they've become conscious that women don't love men, but love men's exploitability, they become MGTOWs and masculists. They despise this aspect of women, who react favourably to men's exploitability, but not to men's other qualities, such as their personalities, their intellectual abilities, their honesty, their generosity, etc. Men really hate being seen by women as walking ATMs, that's automatic teller machines, cash machines in other words. They hate it, and they despise the women who treat them that way. Typically, when a woman meets a man, her first question will be, "What do you do?" which is fluffy speak for, "How much money could I potentially extract from you if I gave you my cunt?" If the man answers, "I'm a part-time janitor, which allows me to cover my meagre expenses so that I can MGTOW doing what I love most of the week," virtually any woman's cunt would dry up fast with that answer, and she would immediately walk away. So how can men, that is MGTOW/masculists, get the best of both worlds, that is get regular sex from a woman and live the MGTOW/masculist lifestyle? Answer: by twaytweffing, that is having a relationship with a fit, financially independent person, woman, who has her own apartment, so that when the relationship almost inevitably fails, he can walk away from it, from her, cost-free. There are now millions of MGTOW/masculists, so women are noticing a change in the sexual ecology. That is, the supply of traditional man-slavable robot males is drying up, and more men are MGTOWing and taking up masculist attitudes of contempt towards fluffies, traditional women who expect to be able to parasite off a man's money. With 70% of young men under 35 in the US and Japan now refusing to marry and have kids, rejecting the traditional manslave role to fluffies, women are being forced to compromise. They increasingly have to choose between having no man or twaytweffing with a MGTOW/masculist. Those women who are unable to suppress their true parasitic nature end up manless, and hence sexless, loveless, babyless, and often poor. This means that twaytweffing, that's 2A, 2F, equals 2 apartments, 2 fips, MGTOW/masculists are in a position to force women to suppress their evolved female nature, that is, of judging men by their salaries. If a twaytweffing woman allows her true nature to surface and she starts nagging, manipulating her twaytweffing male partner, then he simply tells her, "Look, you're really starting to get on my nerves. Remember, I'm a MGTOW/masculist and I don't tolerate female parasitism. If you continue this traditional fluffy behaviour, I walk." This kind of attitude, now shown by millions of men, MGTOW/masculists, is really scaring the shit out of women, because they know that men have the power to force women to be fips and into twaytwef relationships. Men are nearly all fips, and fluffies can only be fluffies if they can find manslaves to parasite off. As the supply of such men dries up, as it's now rapidly doing, these women who in their hearts want to be fluffies are forced to be fips, or they rot on the shelf. They won't even be fucked, because masculists are so disgusted by them that they refuse even to penis them. Fluffies are the enemy of the masculists, who see them as vermin, to be wiped out by refusing to have anything to do with them. Masculists label fluffies as immoral, parasitic, manslaving vermin. The prime political goal of the masculists is to wipe out fluffydom by ignoring fluffies to extinction. So MGTOWs need not despair of the lack of nawalts. It doesn't matter if women are awalts by nature, because MGTOW/masculists can force women to suppress their awalt nature and behave as if they were nawalts. Women are increasingly being forced to, because if they don't suppress their true fluffy nature, then they will pay a terrible price. They will not get a man, no sex, no love, no baby, a life of low income, and in time, as the whole of society learns to piss on fluffies, they will be socially shunned. So women must learn to behave like nawalts or die out. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name De Garis Masculist MGTOW Flyers. Ciao.